Today, I'm going to beat Pokémon Colosseum using on a Lunatone and Solrock, the meteorite Pokémon. Will these mysterious life forms from deep space be able to handle Cypher's antics, or will they crash and burn on impact? That's what you'll find out today. Challenge rules are on screen now and in the description below. Many thanks to 𝗟𝗶𝗲𝗃 for allowing me to use her music remixes in the video, and to 𝗥𝗂𝗹𝗲𝗀 on Twitter for their incredible Pokémon artwork I use on the thumbnail. As we watch the beginning of the game, let's talk about today's duo. These two meteorites are another of the explicit Pokémon pairs introduced in Generation 3, with similar stats, the same ability in Levitate, and even being version exclusive in Ruby and Sapphire. They both have the Rock Psychic type, which is a terrible defensive typing with 6 weaknesses. They both have 440 base stat total, with 7 HP and speed, with Lunatone being more specially oriented, with 55 attack, 65 defense, 95 special attack and 85 special defense, with Solrock switching the physical stats for the special stats. This makes them both quite good offensively in their respective sides, speedy enough, but also capable enough of taking some hits. As for their ability, both have the fantastic Levitate, which makes them completely immune to ground-type moves, which is a boon in a game riddled with trainers using Earthquake. Finally, they both share the fantastic fast growth rate, which will make leveling up that much easier throughout the game. As for their movesets, this is where things start getting kinda dumb. Game Freak tried to give them moves that fit the theme of each Pokémon, but somehow, some wires got crossed, and we ended up with a couple of extremely disjointed Pokémon. They gave Solrock sun and fire related moves, like Fire Spin, Fire Blast and Solar Beam, all of which are special moves. But they made it a special attacker. Meanwhile, there aren't actually that many moon related moves in Generation 3, so instead Lunatone learns a ton of psychic type moves by level up, including Psywave and Hypnosis, and has a very shallow TM moveset. And the weirdest part about this is that they went hard on the theming sometimes and completely missed on others. Lunatone and Solrock are unable to learn Sunny Day and Rain Dance respectively. But in the dumbest decision in the history of ever, neither Lunatone nor Solrock can learn Moonlight or Morning Sun in Generation 3. Truly the Pokémon of all time. Granted, it's not all bad. Lunatone does learn the fantastic Psychic at level 37, while Solrock learns Earthquake by TM, which is amazing for the duo since Lunatone is obviously immune to it. Solrock also learns Rock Slide by level up, which is a move I'll discuss in earnest later, and has access to Fire type coverage with Fire Blast, which even coming from a 55 base special attack is always welcome. Finally, if push comes to shove, they can both blow up with Explosion for a great finish. As proved with 𝗟𝗏𝗃, a base 70 speed is just high enough to outspeed most things with a plus speed nature, so I gave Solrock, Jolly and Lunatone the timid natures. As should be obvious, Solrock starts with Return, while Lunatone starts with Secret Power and Rock Slide as its tutor move, because there really isn't any better options for it. Now that you know what we are working with here, it's prediction time. Despite their shortcomings, I think these two will do great in Colosseum past Miror B, with their fast growth rate, immunity to Earthquake, basically shutting down Dakim, and no need to get TMs in Phenac. However, Miror B could prove to be a massive wall for them, since they are weak to both water and grass type moves from Ludicolo. We might need to train up to level 37 when they learn Psychic and Rock Slide respectively. Leave a comment down below with your prediction for our final time in this run. With that really salient prediction out of the way, let's get to the first big decision of the game, which is obviously which RGP trooper to face. But as a novelty in the Colosseum run so far, we won't be snagging any of the Johto starters. Despite Solrock's fire type inclinations, we don't actually need the charcoal for anything. Fire Blast is strong enough on its own for our purposes. As such, I decided to face and trounce Rosso, because 𝗟𝗏𝗃, the closest peon to the mayor's house, has a Bayleaf with Razor Leaf, which we are obviously weak against. On Pyrite Colosseum's final battle against Mirez, we get in a bit of a hairy situation, with Solrock dropping to only 12 HP after getting pounded by Goldeen's Surf. It's in this battle that I start to realize how, let's say, complicated Rock Slide is. It's a 90% accurate move that has a 30% chance to flinch. This has a couple of interesting consequences. The first is that, since this is Gen 3, moves that hit both opponents have their base power halved. In Rock Slide's case, this means it has only 37.5 base power before stab. Furthermore, because it hits both opponents, we are now also subjected to the tyranny of the binomial distribution. If you don't know or remember what this means, basically it's a way to calculate the probabilities of the move hitting or causing secondary effects against multiple targets, which are actually a bit skewed from what we'd expect. In this case, all you need to know is that the probability of using Rock Slide and flinching at least one opponent is 51%, assuming we hit both of them, because the chances of missing at least one is now 19%. This means that Rock Slide is a very inconsistent move, both when trying to do damage or even in the hopes of causing a flinch. Anyway, we miss Rock Slide a bunch of times and 𝗟𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 present gets Solrock to only 2 HP, but we survived and eventually clear Mirez. The climb up Pyrite building was quite eventful for once. I guess Hunter Tura, Lunatone got frozen by his Field's powder snow, which made me use the rarely ever useful Ice Heal. However, I didn't heal Lunatone, and in the battle immediately after, against Hunter Toti, we got a single KO after Oddish used Petal Dance on the Moon Rock. I also got the chance to learn Cosmic Power on both meteorites, and in a pretty bad decision I skipped it on Lunatone, but kept it on Solrock. This will become important later on. Let's skip straight to Rith and 𝗟𝗏𝗻, where I was deadly afraid of Mantine's Bubble Beam, so I targeted it with both Return and Rock Slide, hoping for more physical damage and a flinch. Which we actually got, which meant we were able to KO it on the next turn. In Pyrite Cave, we snagged the Shadow Meditite for its precious Twisted Spoon without any issues. Then I was faced with a big decision, whether to train around the cave until level 37 to get Psychic and Rock Slide, and since they are on the way, whether to get the vitamins or not. I opted against it, figuring I could try and face Miror B with our current moveset, and if we failed, I could always train, get the vitamins and try again. With all that out of the way, let the music play. I was thinking of this battle against the Disco Ball man more as a probing battle than an actual serious attempt at him. We are weak to both his main types, grass and water, so there's no way we could defeat him with our weak moves, right? I set up with Cosmic Power on Solrock, figuring this was about the only way I could survive this battle, and this is where Cosmic Power on Lunatone would actually be very useful as well. Meanwhile, I tried to fish for a flinch with Lunatone's Rock Slide. This battle was actually the main reason I chose this tutor move for it. I figured I wouldn't be able to defeat Miror B without leveling up a ton or getting lucky with the flinches. Sadly for me, I didn't get a flinch on turn 1, so Miror B was able to set up the rain and hit us with Razor Leaf, which crit on Solrock, taking about half our HP away. On the next turn, I do exactly the same moves, Cosmic Power and Rock Slide, which was a silly move because one of the Ludicolo was already outspeeding us. We once again don't get a flinch, but the slow rain dish Ludicolo just used Fury Swipes on us. It hit 5 times, but it just did cheap damage. On turn 3, I finally begin my offense, using Return on the Swift Swim Ludicolo and Confusion on the Rain Dish 1, both of which survived, and they hit us with another Razor Leaf and a Rain Boosted Water Gun, putting both meteorites in the yellow. On the next turn, another Razor Leaf put Lunatone in the red, but fortunately missed on Solrock, and we reply with Return, finally KOing the first Pokemon. I use Rock Slide with Lunatone, KOing the second weakened Ludicolo and doing cheap damage to the third. The second Swift Swim Ludicolo hit Solrock, not Lunatone, with Water Gun, putting it almost in the red as well. I continued with my silly Rock Slide strategy, which finally came in handy as it flinched the slow Ludicolo. On turn 6, things were looking fairly bad, but because the rain stopped, we were able to outspeed again, hitting the level 30 Ludicolo with a massive return and finishing both off with Rock Slide. Only Sudowoodo is left, but we are not out of the woods yet. I wanted to snag it, but both our moves were too weak, Hypnosis missed, and the imitation Pokemon KO'd Lunatone with Shadow Rush. I thought we were done for, so in a last-ditch attempt to save this battle, I used Psywave, dealing about half HP. Sudowoodo's low kick put Solrock at only 2 HP, and so my only way out was to snag it with a Great Ball, which we fortunately did, somehow defeating Miror B at 41 minutes with a single KO for Lunatone. What a crazy battle. This was honestly a really stupid way to defeat him, as it is incredibly inconsistent. We could have lost at nearly any point in that battle, if only he used better moves and chose better targets. Well, a win's a win, I guess. Since we don't need any Phenac TMs, I make a beeline for Agate, grab the silk scarf behind the waterfall, and deal with the Cypher Peons on the Relic Cave. As usual, Egan is absolutely incapable of dealing with Scrub's Shadow Hitmontop, so it's up to us to avenge the old man. I've come to not underestimate his why not, so I do my usual strategy of dealing with everyone else first, leaving the patience Pokemon for the end. I tried using Psywave on it, thinking it wouldn't get reflected, but it did, dealing about half HP to Solrock. I wasn't playing around any longer, so I used Return and Rock Slide on it, which it fortunately decided to not counter, and we eventually cleaned him off. As a reward, we finally got the Meteorites to level 37, where Lunatone learned its best move Psychic and Solrock learned Rock Slide. The climb up mod battle was very easy because we are immune to the ground-based statics of these trainers, who apparently don't know about Levitate. This made me confident their boss was going to work just like his minions, so I got to Dakim expecting an easy battle. Well, I really shouldn't. Problem is, as this first battle will exemplify, Dakim in fact knows about our Levitate, so he won't resort to his usual Earthquake strats. Instead, he targeted Lunatone with physical moves like Metal Claw and Rock Throw. Remember how I skipped Cosmic Power before? Yeah, it would have been helpful here too. We actually got to Entei on our first attempt, where it defeated Lunatone with Shadow Rush, but of course, Solrock's Rock Slide missed and Entei flinches with Bite, so he ended up losing. What a pain. We end up losing to Dakim 3 more times, basically due to taking too much damage from physical moves on Lunatone and that getting Solrock destroyed by special moves like Bite. The winning strategy starts out like most of them, with us hitting Metang with Psywave and Camerupt with Psychic. Yes, Psywave really is our best move against Metang at this point. They answered with Metal Claw and Flamethrower on Lunatone and Solrock. On the next turn, I decided to switch my strategies a little. I used Rock Slide, defeating Camerupt, but then tried using Hypnosis on Metang. Fortunately, it hit, pacifying Metang for a couple of turns. I used Psywave on it, still not KOing, and Psychic on Marshtomp, which also barely missed the KO. It answered with Muddy Water, which although missing on Lunatone, hit Solrock for pretty big damage, putting us at less than half HP. I took turn 3 to set up with Solrock and defeated Marshtomp with Psychic, while Metang kept on snoozing. On the next turn, we defeat Metang with Psywave, bringing out Entei, which I immediately hit with Lunatone's Psychic for honestly uninspiring damage. On turn 5, Entei hits Lunatone with Shadow Rush, putting it at only 12 HP, but we answered with a powerful Psychic on Golem and Return on Entei, almost KOing them. Unfortunately, Golem's Rock Throw defeats Lunatone, so my only chance to win was to use Rock Slide and have it hit both Entei and Golem. Only 81% chance, remember. Because of our Cosmic Power, Entei's Bite missed the KO on Solrock and Rock Slide hit both Golem and Entei, finally defeating Dakim at 1 hour and 10 minutes. After Dakim, we make our way to Agate to purify a Shadow Pokémon and to buy some vitamins in the Agate Mart, 2 protein for Solrock and 2 calcium for Lunatone, and then make our way down to the Under, the Land of Dreams. Here, in the Mart, I face a little unexpected problem. I need to buy a bunch of TMs, but I basically spent all my money on the vitamins in Agate. Whoops! I ended up buying TM10 and TM16, Hidden Power and Light Screen. Yes, I am running Light Screen on Lunatone because they literally have no other good moves to use. But because I needed Fire Blast for Venus, I ended up battling a bunch of trainers in the Ender just for the money, including Cloak and Dagger. By selling a few other items, I got enough money to buy TM38 Fire Blast and taught it to Solrock. By the way, the Hidden Power type I chose was Grass. I hesitated whether to give Lunatone Grass or Ice, but Grass felt like it would be more useful overall to deal with specific Water type threats later on. After all these shopping and side adventures are done, it's time for the second Cypher admin, Venus. The worrisome part of Venus' team is 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝗀, who has a powerful Stab Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, Lunatone's Psychic barely wasn't enough for 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝗀, and the Marionette Pokemon obliterated the Moonrock with Shadow Ball. On the second attempt, I dealt with 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 earlier, but we got stomped by the bulky Suicune, which brushed off our Psychic and hit back with Surf, which in combination with Steelix Rock Light KO'd us again. On our third attempt at Venus, I did something different and set up Light Screen with Lunatone. Despite our decent defenses and decreased bulk due to Light Screen, we take a pounding from Vileplume's Giga Drain and 𝗟𝗂𝗏𝗔𝗃 Water Pulse, but then easily clean off the Flower Pokemon with Psychic. Rock Slide and Psychic get rid of 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀 and 𝗟𝗂𝗏𝗏, and now we are in a very good spot with only Steelix and Suicune left. However, our Psychic and Return are unpowerful enough to defeat the Aurora Pokemon, and despite the Light Screen, its Surf and Steelix Rock Slide once again finally KO Solrock. Lunatone bravely hung on after another Surf and KO'd Suicune, and by some miracle Steelix Rock Slide missed. This battle was already ridiculous enough, so I decided to gamble and use Hypnosis, which hit the Iron Snake Pokemon. However, I hesitated on which move to use against it, oscillating between Psychic and Hidden Power Grass. By the way, Psychic could have been slightly stronger here, although its resist by steel it has almost base 150 and so has a slightly higher base power than Hidden Power Grass. So because of that, Steelix ended up being a 4-hit KO by a sliver, which was too many turns for it to be snoozing, and it eventually woke up and finished us off. What terrible luck. We lose our 4th and 5th attempt in much the same way. 𝗍𝗏𝗁 is a threat we must defeat at all costs, so we got to focus on it, leaving Solrock open to getting pounded by Water Pulse. But if we take the time to set up Light Screen, then either 𝗍𝗏𝗁 or 𝗨𝗂𝗀 will start dealing a lot of damage. I decided to cut my losses and made my way to the Pyrite Colosseum to train until the next damage running threshold. I decided to do this training because I got a really unlucky missed KO on 𝗨𝗀𝗀 with Psychic, which is a big issue. The winning battle against Venus followed the same pattern as all the others, but we just played a little bit better. We KO 𝗍𝗁𝗁 with Psychic and Rock Slide, dealing some damage to 𝗟𝗂𝗃 as well. On turn 2 I used Fire Blast on 𝗨𝗀𝗀, which obviously did not KO it, but it lived a burn, while Lunatone did great damage to 𝗟𝗂𝗃 with Psychic. That left us completely open to both Water Pulse and Giga Drain, leaving Solrock almost dead. On the next turn I managed to KO both 𝗟𝗂𝗃 and 𝗨𝗀𝗀 with Return and Psychic respectively, and outcame our 2 last Pokemon, Suicune and Steelix. I decided to once again gamble on Hypnosis, but this time I hit the Aurora Pokemon. While it snoozed, I used Fire Blast on Steelix, dealing about 2/3 max HP. Its Rock Slide barely missed the KO on Solrock, leaving it with 7 HP, but after another Fire Blast on Steelix, we were finally 2 against 1, and Suicune got defeated using a combination of Return and Psychic. Our time at Venus was 1 hour and 37 minutes. On the Ender subway, we got into a bit of a hairy situation against Bodybuilder Loina, where Solrock got paralyzed and down to only 8 HP. Seriously, Solrock is getting pounded by these trainers. After playing hand and seek with Venus on the Shadow Liner, we finally made our way to the Shadow Pokemon Lab. Here, with the power of Fire Blast, we bulldoze our way through the many researches using Magneton. However, I overextended myself against Alarm Trigger Epi Research Cotton, and Solrock ended up fainting due to getting pounded by Thunders. Then, against Cypher Pune Remil, I made a huge mistake. I thought the 𝗣𝗏𝗏 had a soft sand, but no, it was a Shadow Palazon back in the subway. So I ended up wasting time snagging 𝗣𝗏𝗏 for nothing. Whoops. Feeling quite frustrated at myself, I go downstairs to face the 4th Cypher admin, Ein. Apparently, no Cypher admin is a cakewalk for the meteorites, and Ein is no different. His Rain Dance based team with strong water types and thunder users is a terrible matchup for us. He leads with Huntail and Golbat, who outsped us and confused Solrock, but the Psychic dealt with it. Meanwhile, Huntail set up Rain Dance, and its Surf on turn 2 completely obliterated us. On the second attempt I do some stupid moves, and once again let Huntail destroy us with Surf, even after Light Screen. And on the third attempt, although we got to Raikou, this went much the same way the moment Rain Dance hit the field, with Huntail's powerful Surfs dealing massive damage to us. Oh dear. The solution was pretty obvious, train over the next damage running threshold, and don't let Hein set up Rain Dance. I end up making my way to the Ender Colosseum, where we get to level 52 for Lunatone and 51 for Solrock. On the fourth attempt, we got the lucky break we needed, as Hein started with Altaria and Lantern. This was honestly the best opening possible, because Altaria doesn't really have anything on us. Apparently its best move against us is Fly, which obviously we resist. As soon as I figured this out, I took the precious chance to set up with Light Screen, while Rock Slide dealt half to Altaria and about a fourth to Lantern. Fortunately, the Light Pokemon flinched, and with Altaria stuck using Fly, I could easily get rid of the Water-type Pokemon. From that turn onwards, I just KO'd all the incoming Mons, Huntail, then Golbat, and finally Raikou, without ever getting much damage dealt to us since Altaria's Fly was so weak. The time at Hein was 2 hours and 17 minutes. After Hein, I grabbed the most important move of the run, TM26 Earthquake. I take care of the Ender errands and made my way to Realgam Tower, Cypher's fortress, where we have a boss rush against all 4 Cypher admins. Before the Miror B rematch, I hesitated whether to teach Earthquake now or not over Explosion, but ended up doing it. Earthquake was the move I was most looking forward to using with this 2 because of its sheer destructive power. It has 100 base power, a great typing, hits both opponents for the full damage, and our partner Lunatone is immune to it. I would like to say the Miror B fight was a perfect example of the power of Earthquake, but I got a bit too trigger happy with it and almost lost due to Ludicolo's rain boosted waterfall, which even after Light Screen deleted more than half of our HP. Fortunately, Lunatone managed to come through with its psychics and we survived, albeit with very low health. Against Dakim and Venus, we didn't face any sort of problems. At this point, Lunatone and Solrock's incredible fast growth rate is making us grow, well, fast, and we are at a much higher level than most other Pokemon for this point in the game. Furthermore, despite Earthquake's rocky start, it's proving to be an incredibly good move capable of destroying all our opponents. However, in the Ein rematch, I got a bit complacent, letting 𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 set up Rain Dance, while 𝗟𝗏 took advantage of it, shooting off an incredibly powerful Hydro Pump that sent Solrock right back to space. On the second attempt on him, we ended up getting destroyed by a combination of 𝗟𝗏's Hydro Pump and 𝗟𝗏𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗃 Surf. Very unfortunate. On the third attempt, I wasn't playing around anymore. The solution was once again obvious. I let Rhydon live while I targeted the rest of Ein's team with both hormones. Thankfully, we got a Hydro Pump miss on turn 1, but we still got pounded by Crobat's Bite, Rhydon's Rock Slide and the Toxic status on Lunatone. Fortunately, both Meteorites survived the ordeal. At this point, I wasn't feeling like I had enough levels just yet, so I went back to the Ender Colosseum to train a little bit more, until level 58. Before we can get to the final challenge of the game, we have to face our former boss, Gonzap. Gonzap opens with Shift 3 and Pinsir. I use Earthquake, which was an obviously bad move because both of them resisted. We managed to delete Pinsir, but Shift 3's Shadow Ball took about half of Lunatone's HP. On turn 2 I got rid of Shift 3 using Fire Blast, while Lunatone's Hidden Power Grass deleted Crawdaunt. This was one of the Pokemon I chose Hidden Power Grass specifically for, because we didn't really have any other good moves against it. Finally, we got rid of Skarmory and Hariyama with Fire Blast and Psychic. Is what I would like to say, but somehow Skarmory survived Fire Blast and answered with a powerful Steel Wing, leaving Lunatone almost KO'd. Fortunately, all we needed was to hit Fire Blast on the next turn to end the battle. Next, it's the Tower Colosseum Gauntlet. In case you're new to this game, the Tower Colosseum is kinda like the Elite Four in the mainline games, where we have 4 type-teamed battles before we face the evil team's boss, Nascour, at the end. The twist is that we cannot heal or save between battles. We have just about 15 minutes to finish the game before 3 hours, so I really wanted this to go well. Fortunately, the Gauntlet wasn't a problem at all, with us barely even taking damage until Stone, the Grass-type user. After proving ourselves against the Cypher peons, Cypher boss apparent Nascour comes out to face us himself. I'll just take the chance to point out that he really has the best battle team in the entire franchise. It's so refreshing. Nascour opens with Gardevoir and Walrein. He throws a turn by using his customary X special, so we take the chance to deal massive damage to Gardevoir and delete Walrein using Psychic and Earthquake. On turn 2 I risk a Rock Slide, dealing massive damage to the newly arrived Xatu and KOing Gardevoir, while Lunatone sets up Light Screen. The Mystic Pokémon confused Solrock, which could be a problem later. Meanwhile, the Embrace Pokémon was replaced by 𝗟𝗂𝘁𝗀𝗃, but it was a sitting chicken for Lunatone's Psychic, while Xatu finally fell to a return. Out came Dusclops and the Shadow Metagross. On turn 4, Solrock finally hit himself in confusion, while Psychic dealt massive damage to Dusclops, who took the turn to also confuse Lunatone. Meanwhile, the Iron-like Pokémon used Iron Defense, making our Earthquakes useless. On the next turn, Nascour heals Dusclops with a Hyper Potion, but fortunately, Solrock snapped out of confusion and dealt massive damage to Metagross with Fire Blast. Lunatone, however, wasn't so lucky, hitting itself in confusion. Metagross took the chance to hit a powerful Metal Claw, dealing half to the Moonrock. Things weren't looking great, so on turn 6, I got rid of Metagross with another Fire Blast, but Lunatone couldn't move due to confusion again, and it fell to Dusclops' Shadow Ball. It would all come down to Solrock, but despite Dusclops re-establishing confusion, 2 Earthquakes, including a crit, dealt with the Beacon Pokémon. The time at Nascour is 2 hours and 56 minutes. However, the run's not over just yet. We still have to face Cypher's true boss, which turned out to be the affable mayor of Phenac City, 𝗟𝗂𝗃𝗃, or should I say Evice. We are just 4 minutes away from the 3-hour mark, so this will be close. Cypher's boss opens with Slowking and Scizor. The bug type is a massive threat to us, so I immediately get rid of it using Fire Blast. Unfortunately, Slowking is so bulky that our Hidden Power Grass did almost nothing to it, and its Water Pulse immediately destroyed Solrock. Oh dear. Fortunately, Evice is so nice to us that we can just take the Blackout and go up the tower to face him directly again, instead of going through the entire Tower Colosseum Gauntlet. In the rematch, Evice opened with Slacking and Scizor. Between battles, I took the chance to teach a new move to Lunatone, Protect, which I immediately use on the first turn. Meanwhile, I targeted Scizor with Solrock's Fire Blast. Fortunately, just like his minion, he just threw the turn by using X attack, so Slacking didn't even attack us. On turn 2, I set up Light Screen while our Earthquake dealt pretty good damage to Slowking, but uninspiring damage to Slacking. Evice thankfully threw the turn by using Skill Swap. On the next turn, I use Rock Slide, which Slowking avoided, but that fortunately flinched the Sloth. Our subsequent Psychic dealt massive damage to it, almost for the knockout. On turn 4, it was Slowking's turn to move, so I didn't want to risk it and use Earthquake and Hidden Power Grass to KO both kings. Out came Salamence and Machamp. The fighting type wasn't a problem for Lunatone's Psychic, but I assumed I could deal with Salamence with Rock Slide, but obviously it had to miss. Thankfully, the Dragon Pokémon just used Dragon Claw, a special move in this generation, which we have light screen set up to protect us against, so it dealt little damage to Solrock. After Machamp was done for, out came the ultimate Shadow Pokémon Tyranitar, which whipped up an Internal Sandstorm, which we obviously are immune to. I used Return on Salamence, dealing uninspiring damage, while Psychic left it with a Sliver. Fortunately, the Sandstorm dealt the remaining damage for the knockout. Only Tyranitar is left, and a combination of Hidden Power Grass and Earthquake dealt with the armor Pokémon. Evice was defeated at 3 hours and a few seconds, so close to an under 3 hour run. The real time is 7 hours and 38 minutes. If you're interested, here's a table with the splits and all the metrics I keep track of, the resets, single KOs and blackouts. With the run done for, it's now time for the postmortem. Well, this was a rather rocky run, pun very much intended. I didn't expect everything to be smooth sailing for these two, but I never expected to be roadblocked by Dakim, Venus and Ein, while Miror B, the admin I was most concerned about, was a first try victory, albeit with a lot of luck. This run proved that the Levitate plus Earthquake combo is indeed very powerful, but it's not like it absolutely stops Dakim for doing a lot of damage with his other moves. The Meteorites also proved to be too frail to be able to handle super effective moves like Bayonet's Shadow Ball. On the other hand, their move pool is just wide enough to allow for decent coverage, and their fast growth rate really let us cruise to the final parts of the game with this. I didn't even use my rare candy. By planning my training sessions better before each admin, perhaps even using the rare candy early, and cutting the mistakes I made, the biggest one being snagging 𝗣𝗲𝗄𝗏 and not Piloswine, I can easily see these two doing around 2 hours and 30 minutes. Then there's the matter of Rock Slide, and, well, I'm a bit conflicted. On one hand, it came in clutch quite a few times throughout the run, but it also led me astray many other times, where it missed at crucial moments. Remember, the tyranny of the binomial distribution. I think Rock Slide can only be useful for Pokémon with Stab or those with Serene Grace. This sadly means that Rock's best move is actually Hidden Power, followed by the weak Ancient Power. What a disaster of a type. Since you watched all the way to the end, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you so much. Since you're already here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of my next videos. And if you want to be super duper mega sure and also have a say in which runs I play next, consider following my Twitter page or join my Discord server, the 𝗥𝗂𝗋𝗄 Club, to be notified when I release a new video, stream the runs live, and also when I make a poll where you can take a part in picking the next challenge run. Speaking of which, the next Colosseum run is Magmar and 𝗥𝗂𝗋𝗲𝗃, the Elemental Punchers. Actually, they didn't win the poll, it got tied with 𝗟𝗶𝗀 and 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗎, but they were the incumbent, so they win by default. That's gonna be a really fun one. See you there. Outro time! Well, actually this is my second time recording this entire script. So what happened is that I'm a bit of an idiot. I like my mic as like a stand, a little stand, and it's held by these elastic bands. And some time ago I recorded something and I took the mic out, and then when I assembled the mic again I put it backwards, and I didn't notice until I recorded the entire script for Lunatone Solrock, and it just sounded like crap. It was terrible, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I suddenly remembered that I mounted the mic backwards. Yeah, so I had to record the entire script again. So yeah, if I sound a bit frustrated, that's why. Anyway, things are going well. Today is the 8th of July. The 𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀 video in XD is finished. The first XD run on the channel. That should be coming out this month in July. So when you're watching this video, you have already watched the 𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 run. Other than that, I have played the +Manam in XD already, which was a really fun run, and I've done a second run with 𝗟𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 in Colosseum, and I got a really good time in Colosseum, and +Manam also got a really good time in XD. Things are going well. I'm gonna keep the monthly plan for now, because this year, in case you don't know or follow my other stuff, I also write novels, light novels specifically. I entered a contest last year and I lost on the first round, and this year I really want to win. I really want to win the contest, and I really want to write a great novel. Yeah, the contest will open soon, and the deadline for delivering manuscripts is on December 31st. Yeah, so like I have 6 months to to write a novel, and then I have my other serialized novel I hope goes well. So I'm gonna be really busy this year. Yeah, that's why if you only follow me for my videos or my music, I apologize for not releasing them as quickly. I'll try to keep the monthly schedule for the challenge run videos. Actually, at the time of recording, the 𝗟𝗂𝗋𝗄𝗃 and 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗃 run got like a little boost by the algorithm, so it got like 140 views. It's like obviously isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but that's actually pretty decent. It got like a boost by the algorithm. I hope the videos start to get picked up by the algorithm, but I'll keep the monthly schedule. I could speed it up a little bit more if I wanted, but yeah, because I'm gonna be busy the rest of the year, I'm gonna keep the monthly schedule. So right now I have a video for July, for August, and for September. And then October is going to be 𝗥𝗏𝗄𝗃 and 𝗥𝘂𝗋𝗲𝗃. November and December, I'm not sure. So yeah, lots of plans. Thankfully, my migraines apparently have calmed down. June was a pretty good month for the migraines. I didn't really get railroaded by the migraines. So yeah, things are going well. I'm feeling better, and yeah, I'll see you in the next stream. You know where to find me. I've rambled long enough. So yeah, have a good day, and I hope you liked the video. Bye bye!